What if I told you that the reason you are not where you want to be in life is because you lack talent, connections, or luck, but because you've been looking for validation in all the wrong places? 3 years ago, I was scrolling through social media at 2 a.m. comparing my behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel, wondering why nothing seemed to stick, why every opportunity felt like it slipped through my fingers like water, and that's when it hit me like a lightning bolt on a clear day. I remember sitting in my car after another failed job interview, staring at my reflection in the rearview mirror, when my grandmother's words echoed in my mind. Child, you can't pour from an empty cup, and you can't light someone else's path when your own flame is barely flickering. That moment became the turning point that shifted everything, because I realized I had been so focused on impressing others, on getting their attention, their approval, their recognition, that I had completely neglected the most important person in the equation, myself. Here's what nobody tells you about success, relationships, and life fulfillment. The world doesn't owe you attention, but when you genuinely focus on becoming the best version of yourself, attention becomes inevitable, like flowers naturally attracting bees without begging them to come. I spent months, then years, redirecting every ounce of energy I had been wasting on seeking external validation back into building my skills, understanding my values, healing my wounds, and developing the kind of character that could withstand storms. During this journey, I discovered that focusing on yourself isn't selfish. It's strategic, because when you're constantly looking over your shoulder to see if others are watching, you're not watching where you're going, and you will end up walking in circles, exhausted and confused about why you're not making progress. I started waking up at 5 a.m. not to impress anyone on social media, but to have quiet conversations with myself, to read books that challenged my thinking, to exercise not for the perfect body but for the mental clarity that comes with physical strength. The transformation wasn't instant, but it was profound. Like watching a seed grow underground for months before finally breaking through the soil into sunlight. I stopped checking how many likes my posts got and started checking how many pages I had read, how many skills I had improved, how much more patient I had become with my own learning process. And something magical happened. People started noticing, not because I was trying to get their attention, but because genuine growth creates an energy that's impossible to ignore. The paradox of personal development is that the less you need others to see you, the more they want to watch your journey. Because authenticity is rare in a world full of performance, and people are naturally drawn to those who have found peace within themselves, rather than those desperately seeking it from others. When you focus on you, you develop what I call quiet confidence, not the loud, insecure kind that needs constant validation, but the steady, unshakable kind that comes from knowing who you are when nobody's watching. I learned that every master craftsman spends years in solitude perfecting their art before the world celebrates their genius. Every strong tree grows deep roots in darkness before it reaches toward the sky. And every person who seems to have it all together has spent countless hours working on themselves when no camera was rolling, no audience was clapping, no social media was tracking their progress. The most successful people I know share one common trait. They fell in love with the process of becoming better, not with the outcome of being recognized, and that love affair with growth made them magnetic without trying, influential without forcing, and respected without demanding. They understood that external focus follows internal focus the same way shadow follows light, naturally, inevitably. Today, when young people ask me how to stand out in a crowded world, I tell them the same thing that changed my life. Stop trying to stand out and start trying to grow up, emotionally, intellectually, spiritually. Because when you're genuinely growing, you naturally stand apart from those who are just trying to fit in or show off. The focus you give to developing your character, skills, and wisdom becomes the foundation upon which all your external success will be built. And unlike fame or recognition that can disappear overnight, the person you become through this process stays with you forever. So here's your challenge. For the next 30 days, redirect every minute you would spend seeking approval, comparing yourself to others, or performing for an audience, and invest that time into one skill, one habit, or one area of personal growth that only you will know about. Watch how this quiet revolution in your private life creates waves in your public world. And remember, the most powerful transformations happen not when the spotlight is on you, but when you finally turn the spotlight on yourself. What will you focus on today?